But on that final day, don't we have to make the final day a little bit? You know what I mean? Don't you have to elevate that just a little bit? And isn't Sunday that final day? I think as a spectator, that's one thing that I'm kind of...
So Pat McAfee is actually saying that maybe Live Golf should change its format for Sunday. And this answer by Phil Mickelson is incredibly telling.
Watching the leader all day is like a part of the story almost. Is that possibly something in the future for Live?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Like, this is the feedback that we want, and we want to make it the best product, and we're going to, and we want your feedback, but we want fans' feedback and what the experience is like.
The only response to feedback that the PGA Tour side has given the whole time was play better. This interview comes on the heels of Rory McIroy flip-flopping for the 40th time and now saying that the PGA Tour's flaws were exposed by Liv. Rory is known for the play better comment. There was this meeting, and in it, Grayson Murray had shouted, "We don't trust you, Jay. You lied to our face." And then Rory very patronizingly said, "Just play better, Grayson." At which point, Murray told McIlroy to F off. And sweet, sweet justice went down because this week at the Dubai Invitational, Rory 3 putts from 2 feet, dunks a tee shot in the water on the 72nd hole to lose by 1 stroke, and Grayson, on the other hand, drains a 30-foot putt in a playoff to win, showing that he did play better, as Rory had suggested, and that we are all living in a simulation.
But joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, from Liv, 3-time Masters champion, Phil Mickelson.
Folks, in this episode of Pat McAfee with Phil Mickelson, there is tons of knowledge dropped about Liv and how it's going to proceed in the future. Let's go through all those tasty tidbits together on this wonderful episode of Big Boy Pants Golf, YouTube's hottest golf channel.
And now Rory's statements are like, wow, I'm kind of seeing the picture of everything.
It's amazing that Rory took this long to see the big picture. Maybe the slowest realization in the world on anything. Apparently, Rory can only learn something if Jay Monahan literally spoon feeds him.
When I try to remove myself from the situation and I look at the bigger picture and I look at
10 years
down the line, you know, I think ultimately this is going to be
and the game of golf is better for what we've done here today.
It's going to be good for the game of professional golf. I think it secures the what's the word?
To unify the game of golf.
It unifies it.
And to have this capital at this point in time,
and it secures its financial future. So
but anyway, we got Rory now somewhat preaching Liv's merits, and now Phil gets to weigh in.
And now he's kind of come around, and then people started attacking him and assuming that you wanted to attack him for saying this because it's like, ha, Phil was right, you were wrong.
If you want to sum up the last 2 years, basically it would be 3 words: Phil was right. Phil, being the adult in the room, rather than piling onto Rory, who's flip-flopped for the 40th time, Phil actually applauds Rory for finally realizing that 2 + 2 = 4. It wasn't so long ago that the Rory McIroy fanboys putting quotes out there like, "The world needs to have your voice right now. You and Tiger are leading the charge. This is the moment." And this was from Chad Mumm, who directed that schlocky Netflix Full Swing series. You can see here, he's the chief creative officer, quote unquote. And it leads to the final scene or so where Rory McIroy tells Phil in Full Swing to go F you, Phil. And now these fanboys are turning on Rory. Look, Rory McIroy is the new public enemy number 1. Oh, the irony.
I care about where the game is going.
And Phil was smart enough to know that the very self-serving PGA Tour leadership was driving the golf bus off a cliff.
Just like NFL is trying to bring football to London and other parts, and by controlling their schedule, they're able to do that because you have the Jacksonville Jaguars play the Buffalo Bills in London, and you know who's going to play.
Phil, make an awesome point again. Yeah, you do have to control the player schedule on some level, just like every other sport, so people know what product they're actually getting. Boom. Las Vegas, February 8th to 10th.
We have an old historical site that we're going to be playing in Las Vegas Country Club the following week, the week of the Super Bowl in Las Vegas.
Genius timing, folks. Las Vegas, they're going to need to have a tournament here every year. That's just good strategy. Again, I'm going to throw out this offer. If 5 Big Boy Pants Golf t-shirts are purchased from www.bigboypantsgolf.com before February 8th, just 5, folks, I will turn this into the world's first Asian mullet. It's so soft and luxurious right now, it seems like a crime, but I'm willing to do it.
We also had a lot of challenges that we had to overcome with pressure from outside sources, from other networks to not get involved with us.
Imagine how successful LIV is going to be now that all these artificial roadblocks are out of the way, including the Jay Monahan, Rory McIroy smear campaign. People are going to be rushing in. It's going to be a happy, joyous occasion coming up this year already.
They have enough money just to take down a PGA. They don't want to be a sustainable business. Like
Pat Mcafee struggles to get this question out. Phil asks, do you want me to discuss the business model? And folks, things start getting juicy.
will inevitably become like profitable and sustainable? Or is it just like we actually have a never-ending supply of money? Like that's an actual weapon that you guys certainly have in this entire thing. Is there a thought about that? Will that disrupt things? Is the future very strong, even if it doesn't become profitable until maybe 10 decade or so?
That's let me explain a little bit more of the business model, because
Please.
when we have the ability to control the product, meaning LIV knows what they are selling,
and as previously addressed, Phil's already likened it to other sports like football. So now you know who's on board and what you're selling.
Meaning LIV knows what they are selling, and you know what you're buying as a sponsor. We are now integrating golf on a global scale, and we're going to different countries and utilizing tourism budgets to get us there.
Yes, folks, you heard it. Tourism budgets, like, for example, he'll later mention the Singapore Board of Tourism. They're actually funding the purses for the LIV Golf events, which is insane, because now you can see that whole concept where Phil has been tweeted out in the past that they're playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Forget just the companies sponsoring these LIV events or the PGA Tour events. You're actually having different countries' boards of tourism wanting LIV to come over there and ponying up the money for the purses.
The tourism board at Singapore gets involved, and I'm talking tens of millions, not just a million or two. So when we started out at LIV, we had to pay for sites because it was controversial and there were threats against us not to be involved with us and so forth.
So not only has the PGA Tour not tapped into foreign markets, they've not also looked into opportunities like seeing if the different boards of tourism want to get involved to not only just promote golf, but their actual country. So now you see the Vision 2030 of the Saudi Arabia government. Their whole idea, part of it at least, was to promote tourism. Now you have these different tourism boards that can work together, promoting cross-cultural exchange, not just golf, but via business on every level. This is fantastic, folks. This is the point where my mind was truly blown during this interview.
Now, these countries are using tourism dollars to get us to go there because of the impact we're having on their economy. And so it's as much to cover the entire purse.
That's insane. These purses are $20+ million. And Singapore Board of Tourism is like, hey, here's that money. We'll fund it. You just come over here. And that's how much of a win-win for everyone this is going to be, because now Singapore has golf promoted, it has its country promoted, and KSA gets to also promote its country. It's win-win-win. Maybe I'd say win cubed, 360, maybe even 720. That's just the math.
To not see this opportunity is short-sighted. This is an area of monetary opportunity that we've never had in golf.
And the first hint of that was Live Adelaide, where you see the Australian government cannot get enough of Live. That Live Adelaide event is blowing up. You got Chase Koepka making a hole in one, basically a one-man promo video. And now all these tourism boards are saying, hey, we see the big picture. We've got so much money that we want to give you, so you host an event in our country.
As we were starting to, and I think Jon Rahm signing is really being used as a bridge.
You've said in the past that you don't think they should be able to play in the Ryder Cup. Do you still feel that way?
I mean, I certainly think Brooks deserves to be on the United States team. I don't know if there's anyone else on the, on the Live roster that would make the team on merit and how they're playing, but I have different feelings about the European team and the other side and sort of how that has all transpired. And yeah, I don't think any of those guys should be a part of the European team. I still hate Live. Like, I hate Live. Like, I hope it goes away, and I would fully expect that it does.
But with Jon Rahm signing on, what it's done is create a bridge and an opportunity for us to come together, because the realization is Live isn't going away.
Live is not going away, folks. Maybe the Jon Rahm signing finalized that and made some people realize it, because Rory immediately switched positions about having Live players on the Ryder Cup team. Now he's all for it. He'd insist that Jon Rahm is there. Jon Rahm is the Rosa Parks of golf. And it's fascinating that Jon Rahm gets to go right into Roman, Spaniard, military history with Legion 13 as his team name. To me, it seems a little out of place because everyone else's name is basically something out of Smurf Village. But now you have a Smurf in that village who basically chose the name Ninja Assassin Warrior, whereas everyone else is obviously Clique Smurf and Majestic Smurfs. We'll see how it plays out. I'm hoping that these other teams get to change their name, potentially to something like Black Hawk Down Smurf or Zero Dark 30 Smurf.
That I know that I've had a lot of calls from players that realize that what they have been being told now for the last year and a half isn't really accurate.
And this, folks, is the last point that I want to raise today from this interview. The first person who should be freaking out is Will Zalatoris, because he passed up apparently over $100 million because he was listening to Rory McIlroy, who Will Zalatoris suggested, if it was possible, that Will Zalatoris would vote for Rory as president of the United States. That's how brainwashed this dude was. Will Zalatoris, the Rory fanboy.
If Rory was born in the United States, I'd vote him for president.
Who so proudly professed that he turned down a $100 million or $120 million offer from Liv. Insane. The worst decision in all of sports history. That's how much Rory Kool-Aid was drinking, and it only cost him $100 million. He just shot at least one round over 80 at the Hero World Challenge. And now we've got to ask ourselves, folks, should there be consequences for all the Liv haters like Rory who were suggesting that basically that there should be super large punishments, financial, maybe some kind of social name calling on all the Liv players that went over there. But now that the Liv side is ahead, should those same rules that Rory wanted dished out to others be applied to himself? Folks, get in the comments section, subscribe, share, and like.